America's about to go to war. If America goes to war with Iran and widens the war, I don't think she may allow me to be free to talk to you. She needs your body. She may reinstitute the draft. And she's coming. Iran is a nation of 90 million people that believe in the coming of the Mahdi. 90 million people who are ready to lay down their lives for al-Mahdi.
That's right.
They're beautiful people, the Iranians. You don't see them starting no war with nobody.
That's correct.
Ask Mr. Trump. In the history of Iran, show me where they attacked some other nation trying to take their wealth as you do, as America does. Show it to me. See, when you know the truth, see, can't nobody punk you unless you just want to be a punk. We're facing war now. Our president is making moves as a king. The former president, Barack Obama, and his Secretary of State, John Kerry, came up with an agreement with Iran and 5 of the strong members of the Security Council, the permanent members, that would keep Iran from developing an atomic bomb or weapon. Iran never said that's what they wanted. But when you're guilty of evil and you see they have the technical knowledge to go to get a bomb, your fear of their having it causes you to say and do things. So this agreement was to limit and make it impossible for Iran to develop a nuclear weapon. Five plus one signed that agreement. China, Germany, France, England, America. But the king said, I don't like that. So he didn't feel bound to anything that his predecessor worked out. So he said, scrap it, and walked out on it without even considering what his predecessor had done with the cooperation of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council of the United Nations. He didn't like it. He talked about the money that they gave to Iran. They didn't give Iran no money. They had over $150 billion of Iran's money that they were holding. And part of the agreement was you'd give them back some of their money. Not all of it. And the demon was upset because he had to.
There is something powerful about Louis Farrakhan's warning about America and Iran, guys, because beneath the politics and the international tensions, he is raising a much bigger question. Who pays the price when powerful nations go to war? That is a very good question that each and every one of us should think about it. In his speech, Farrakhan warns about the possibility of another major conflict between America and Iran. He is especially concerned about young people being called upon to fight a war they did not create, guys. And he raises questions that has appeared throughout history. When governments go to war, whose sons and daughters are sent to fight? That's also a very big question. Otherwise, let's watch this video until the end. Then I'll be back with my 2 cents. And remember, you are going to buy me a coffee if you are going to click the subscription button.
Give back something that he felt he should keep. See, these are thugs. Now, we just went to Iran maybe 6 to 8 months ago. The minister spoke to the supreme leader, spoke to some of the highest religious authorities in Iran. Iran has 80 to 90 million people in love with the Mahdi, who are willing at any moment's notice to give their lives as a sacrifice for El Mahdi. So I went to Iran with a team. Brother Leonard, Brother Akbar, my son Mustafa, the Imam Sultan Rahman Muhammad, and my security people. It wasn't about making no accommodation with Iran. While I was on the airplane going to Iran, I was saying my prayers in the little cubby hole in the first class section. And I started to weep, because in the middle of my prayer and my crying, because I wanted to be sure that that's what Allah wanted me to do, and I was assured that I was in the right place at the right time. I want you to listen. Yes, sir. What was my instruction? Since they love the Mahdi, I came there to introduce them to the man that they hope for. And I was reminded of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sending emissaries to Persia, to Rome, to Egypt, announcing himself as a messenger of God and warning them of the calamities or the wars that would happen to them. I never went there saying nothing about me being no messenger. I just went there delivering a message. Sometimes the weight of the message that you deliver tells the people that receive it who you are. Imam Sultan is here. When we got to Iran, I sent for him. I said, give me the knowledge of the history of the Prophet, peace be upon him, when he sent a message to the Khosrows of Persia, the Caesar of Rome, the leader of Egypt and Ethiopia. When he gave me a synopsis of it, well, I thought you knew. Well, a man does know. But I want to be sure I didn't have my books there. I had a message to deliver. It had nothing to do with the books, but I wanted to see where my feet were going. So everybody that went with me, you know that I met with the generals, the supreme leader, the religious thinkers, and I told them that Al-Mahdi had visited with us. Wait now. If they had accepted that, 80 million of them would be behind us. I mean, not that we need 80 million people behind us. We have Allah and His Mahdi behind us. Now, America is provoking Iran. Iran has some technology that shot down an unmanned drone. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that it was 20-some miles in outer space over territorial waters belonging to Iran, and Iran shot it down. I mean, when you shoot down something that's far out, your technology must be pretty heavy. And then Iran told them you had another plane there too with people on it. We could have shot that down as well. Now, the world is not afraid of America. But our president wants the world to fear him. So coming out of the White House, they said that if Iran purifies some of that uranium, Israel would attack Iran and America would back Israel. This is from the senator from South Carolina. What's that got to do with your subject? America's about to go to war. And when she goes to war, she wants black and brown bodies. Now you're useful. They don't give a doggone about how black lives matter until they want to use black lives to accomplish their wicked ends. They're trying to provoke Iran. I would like to say to the president, Mr. President, it would not be a wise move for you, because you're already $23 trillion in debt. And you don't have any money to prosecute a war. So if you don't have the money to prosecute a war, the Federal Reserve is printing money every day. So you will have to come to the Federal Reserve to borrow money that you don't have to prosecute a war in a time when any little thing could cause the dollar to fall and the stocks to fall. In 1962, Brother Malcolm was our top spokesperson for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. One of my friends that we grew up together in Boston moved to LA and became the secretary of the LA Mosque, and the police attacked the mosque. And my brother, who was the secretary, came out of the mosque with his hands up, and they killed him. They shot and paralyzed other Muslims. Brother Malcolm was our spokesperson, but he knew what he wanted to do. He had to check it with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm wanted the FOI to kill police, create a war. So he came to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and said, they killed our brother, so we should retaliate. The messenger says, well, they could kill a few more. I will not put the resources of a nation into war on a provocation. Now, we didn't have much to lose except our lives and the focus of the nation on the word that had to be gotten to our people. Brother Malcolm was upset and angry that we didn't kill the police. I sat with him and he talked to me about provocations. Did you know that America put an embargo on Japan to get oil, which that nation needed? So when Japan could not get oil that it needed to run its industry, Japan decided to go to war with America. Any of you older ones that lived in New York, there was a 3rd Avenue rail subway that, I mean, when you get on that 3rd Avenue subway, it takes you up, I don't know how many feet above ground, maybe between 50 and 60 feet above the ground. They took that elevated platform down, and Japan bought it. And Japan turned it into aircraft carriers, battleships. And when they felt the time was right, they used their flag, the rising sun, and they attacked America at Pearl Harbor. Did you know that members of the Japanese people had come among us and made friends with members of the nation?
Yes, sir.
So the government of the United States knew that Mr. Takahari, I think his name was, had come to make friends with us. Anytime a foreign nation wants to make friends with the children of slaves, ex-slaves, the government becomes frightened. So in 1941, when Japan attacked, though the scientists told Japan not to do it, according to what our teacher taught us, Japan attacked, and the rest is history. They lost. They became occupied by America. The atomic nuclear bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki frightened the entire world that America was to be feared. When Japan attacked, Elijah Muhammad was called to be drafted. Elijah Muhammad said, I cannot fight for the infidel. He was 46 years old, and the draft was from 18 to 45. But it didn't make any difference. They wanted him in jail. So they arrested the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Why are you bringing it up? When I was in Iran, they said Farrakhan was leading a chant. Death to America, death to Israel. Farrakhan never led no such chant. One of their news people during a press conference asked me to lead the chant. This was an Iranian, but he was an enemy. So I beat him up pretty bad, not physically. But I wanted America to know, and I want you to know, that this is our country. We paid a hell of a price to own some of this that we could call our own. This is the place of our birth. This is the place of our suffering. This is the place of our long night of tyranny under white supremacy. This is the place that God came for us. So I told them, don't any of you tell me if you don't like it here, leave. No, I don't like what you're doing to my people, but I ain't going nowhere. We know them. We know their history. I love this country. What? Yes. I love the plains. I love the desert. I love the mountains. I love the cities. I love the highways. I just love this place. Damn, you don't sound like Elijah Muhammad to me.
Guys, I want to appreciate you for making up this far end of this video. And if you know very well, is that Farrakhan is highly critical of America's foreign policy. And I've been making a lot of videos about Alois Farrakhan. So you should go back to my channel and watch them. He's a person who's high thinking capacity. So Alois Farrakhan, he's talking or he's hugging that America's involvement in conflicts around the world is connected not only to security, but also to questions of power, influence, and resources. So, whether you agree with that interpretation or not, his argument forces people to think about the reasons nations become involved in foreign conflicts. Farrakhan also talks about his visit to Iran. He describes meeting important religious and military figures and says he went there to deliver a message rather than simply seek political agreement. So guys, you can see Louis Farrakhan, he presents himself as someone trying to communicate during a dangerous period of rising tension. And that, guys, brings us to one of the most important parts of his speech. I hope you listen that speech very carefully. And one of the things that Louis Farrakhan has raised is that the danger of a provocation. So, Farrakhan refers to historical events surrounding major wars to make the argument that conflict can sometimes develop throughout a series of provocations, reactions, and decisions that eventually become difficult to control. So his warning is essentially this: once a major war begins, guys, leaders may lose control over where it ends. That is a very serious issue in the country, guys. And ordinary people often pay the highest price because you know that these young people, they are the one who you are usually sent to these wars. You have these young men and women can be sent thousands of miles away. Families can lose loved ones during these wars, guys. Communities can be disrupted. The economy of that community cannot work any longer, guys. And that is the effects of war, guys. And countries can spend years dealing with the consequences. That is why Farrakhan questioned the idea of sacrificing young people for wars that might have been avoided through diplomacy. But there is another interesting part of his message. Despite his criticism of the American government, Farrakhan emphasizes that America is still his home. He speaks about his personal connection to the country and the experiences that shaped him there. And that distinction is important, guys. Criticizing a government is not necessarily the same thing as rejecting a country or its people. So, a person can love their country while strongly disagreeing with the decision made by its leaders, because not all the decision that these leaders make, they they favor these people. That is why you see most of the people, they usually come out and demonstrate, because some of the decisions government they make by themselves without involving their people. And this is why you find most of the countries go back to the streets, because the government ends up making bad decisions. And perhaps that is one of the biggest questions behind Farrakhan's speech. What does patriotism really means, guys? Does patriotism mean supporting every government decision? Or can patriotism also mean warning your country when you believe it is moving towards danger? Of course, Farrakhan's interpretation of American foreign policy is his own perspective, and his historical comparison should be examined against independent evidence. But his broader warning about war raises a question that goes beyond America and Iran. How carefully should government think about sending young people into conflict? Because when politicians make decisions about war, they discuss strategy, alliance, weapons, and the national interest. But ordinary families think about something much more personal. They think about their children, they think about their future, and they think about whether a conflict was truly unavoidable. So perhaps the most important message here isn't simply whether you agree with the Farrakhan. It is whether nation should exhaust every realistic path towards diplomacy before choosing war. Because once war begins, it can create consequences that last far long than the political arguments that started it. So guys, what do you think? Was Farrakhan's raising a legitimate warning about war and the sacrifices ordinary people could be forced to make? Or do you think his interpretation of American foreign policy goes too far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. And if you enjoyed this video, guys, please don't forget to subscribe, because that's the only way you can buy me a coffee, guys. And also you can share the video out. Otherwise, I want to appreciate you so much for making until this far end of this video. And thanks for watching this video. And guys, I'll see you in the next one.